Good, we're loaded.
Yeah, we're good. So right off the back, I think we're going to be seeing. Let's see who's going for the second pick. It's going to be Radiant. So Radiant wants to be a little bit more reactionary, probably because they're not sure what the other team's going to do. They have no idea.
Well, let's give a quick rundown of the night first to kind of get us all into the event and all the chaos that we have in front of us. My name is Sky. I am at Reach for Sky. I am joined here with Reaping You. You can see him at twitch.tv/ReapingYou. And we are here with the third week of Teach You Tuesday. And tonight we've finally been able to assemble, after much delay, two teams that range from about 1.5k MMR all the way up to around 5k. And although over that wide range, we will still have around a 3.3k MMR average game. So I think this is going to be pretty exciting, especially since we have that spread, because it allows newer or less experienced players to be able to kind of pick up on some of the better habits of the more senior players. But enough about the event. We are well into the draft, and we've already got 4 bans out of the gate. Reaping You, what are you thinking about these bans, especially Winter Wyvern?
Yeah, that was a little weird. I'm not sure what they're thinking about that. The Luna one is the Luna one's pretty standard. Luna's always been pretty strong, even faster nerfs from 7.02. And 7.0, she's been pretty strong. Her ulti's still been strong. Everything about her has still been pretty strong, especially with Helmet Dominator switches to the item and stuff like that. It makes her a really good hero. And other than that, okay, we have Mirana. Other than that, the Lone Druid, I'm a little bit surprised banning as well, because he did get nerfed pretty decently, and I kind of look at him kind of the same way I look at a sniper. You just need to get on top of him.
I really don't think Lone Druid's nerfs were like that big of a deal to really impact him not being chosen.
Yeah, they weren't huge, but I think
it's like a couple damage, a little bit of range, like.
Yeah, but the range is like the big thing, right? Because
it's only 25.
Survivability.
It's only 25 range.
It's just 25 is still like a couple steps, I know.
All that do is takes him away from the 890 of the former years and whatever sort of chaos the sniper can pull out. I think they just wanted to tone him back a little bit compared to,
I think, I think they're trying to keep him in respect. They want to have both, you know, item bear and then like solo bear. They want to have both of them viable builds. So I can see why they still don't want to over nerf him. I think they're just trying to do it gradually, but I still think he's like the same way that you look at like a sniper being strong, just staying really far away from the fights, being able to kite back, and he's able to do that with his bear and because of his roar. So I think it's just the same way that you can build your team around that kind of weakness. So you're able to just have a nice front line, you're able to have that bear really dishing out all the DPS with his range and stuff like that. It makes him really strong to hero like that, but once you get on top of him and lock him down, he's dead almost instantly. So that's why I think you kind of want to treat him kind of like the same way that you would treat like a fed sniper or anything.
You still have Savage Roar.
Yeah, but if you lock him down or if you silence him, you know, it's the same way.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like how you want to address the issue. Like, he's not all powerful, right? You just need to lock him down, get on top of him, and then he's dead. Any kind of blink initiator is able to do that.
All right, well, we've got a Slardar here, relatively durable, potential offlaner, or could be ran as a role 4 if they wanted to. And then, you know, from the Dire, we've got a Mirana Omni Knight combo here. So this could be a mid Mirana, could be a roaming support Mirana, and offlane could be just straight support, could be an offlaner. So a little bit of flexibility to both of their picks right there. But what do you think about this Omni Knight just overall? Because he's going to have Guardian Angel. However, we don't know if that's going to be to the level of effectiveness that they even need with what the Radiant have as a draft here.
Yeah, the Radiant isn't really looking for not showing like heavy magic or physical damage and not leaning in one way or the other. And the Omni Knight is pretty strong against negative armor lineups because, you know, you just get physical immunity and it doesn't matter how much negative armor you have, you know, you're just physically immune. So that's why he's a little bit strong against Slardar. I'm actually kind of interested where the Mirana is going to go because it could be. It's probably going to be a roaming Mirana, but if they have an Omni Knight, then they're not really having a lot of setup right now, you know, for the arrow. So it's going to be kind of awkward to see if it is going to be a roaming Mirana, how they're going to be able to set that up.
Do you still think there's a possibility of getting a Shadow Demon in this draft?
If they're banning Luna and Juggernaut, I don't think they're looking for it unless they have a very specific other hero in mind. Like some people kind of, you know, they don't like the idea, but Chaos Knight and Shadow Demon can be very, very strong going into like the mid-late game. And that would have like two different kinds of setups. You know, if you wanted to, you could have the stun from the CK, you could have the disruption. So you would have kind of two different ways to set up an arrow. So we'll see what they go for. They could still pick the Shadow Demon, but I'm not sure exactly if that's what they want to do. It would kind of block the pick against the Omni Knight, but Shadow Demon is not really much of a good counter to Omni Knight anymore since Repel is non-purgeable. So it's not that big of a deal, really. So
Now, I'm kind of confused about this Legion Commander ban. I don't think really that's really something that you put much focus or emphasis on. But the Winter Wyvern ban also, they have a trend between those two heroes. There's that really strong parallelism of piercing magic immunity and just really having that solo target lockdown. So maybe Dire wants to do something in that direction of a core hero that would really get messed up by either of those two.
Yeah, I think a hero kind of like Lifestealer or something like that would be kind of what you're looking for, right? Because Lifestealer would rage, and then you would have, now Radiant actually thought about that.
Yeah,
because
so
you would have
Lifestealer for the
rage,
Radiant.
and then you have Winter Wyvern just like ulting him, and you have a bunch of physical damage, wearing him down, or you would have, you know, Legion Commander dueling him with Blade Mail and doing a lot of damage and locking down the Lifestealer that way. But now Dire's kind of gotten themselves into a little bit of a situation because now they're lacking that good lockdown for the Lifestealer that they need, and the Slaughter and the Lifestealer have really good synergy.
Well, Bane is still in the pool, and Bane Mirana is a pretty OG combo.
Yeah, yep, that's pretty good.
Guaranteed lockdown, piercing magic immunity, all those things that you'd really be looking for.
I just don't think that... See, if you pick the Bane, right, then you're forcing the Mirana into an off lane or a mid roll, because you're not going to have her roaming. And that means that you're going to be dual laning Omni Knight and Bane, unless you want to, or you try laning Omni Knight and Bane, unless you want to try and do some kind of weird aggro off lane with two heroes. It would be kind of awkward because then you would be solo supporting Omni Knight with whatever their, looks like Terrorblade now. So I think the Omni Knight Terrorblade, I don't think you can leave those two heroes by themselves to be able to solo zone out a Slaughter. It's kind of... I think it's going to be a little bit weird. The Slaughter's going to get a lot of experience out of that lane if they don't do something about it.
Well, Terrorblade isn't going to be the worst thing to try and zone out a Slardar, although he's going to need a little bit of help from his friends. And I don't think if this is a support Omni Mirana that he'll be able to do that. However, Mirana in the mid lane I don't think is too unlikely or out of the realm of possibility, but it just kind of comes out to what the Radiant kind of have in the back of their head for the direction they want to go. They banned out a lot of strong mids, including the Invoker, which I know Matty Man would have been keen to have, but we do have a Shadow Demon in this game, so the premonition has been foretold.
That's really weird.
Well, maybe it's a counter pick, so they didn't want them to have it with a Terrorblade.
Yeah. Yeah, Shadow Demon would have fit in with the Terrorblade now. That would have been the pick for them. I don't know, the Radiant's really out. It feels like the Radiant's doing really good drafting right now. They're really reading into this and seeing the weaknesses and strengths in the draft. I still think the Bane, like you were saying, the Bane is still an okay pick to be able to set up Mirana Arrow.
Yeah, for the Dire, I agree.
I'm really worried about this Terrorblade later on, though, once the Slardar hits level 6 in lane. Because, you know, the Omni Knight's really going to have to sit there and babysit him, because if he's not, Slardar, you know, a lot of Terrorblade's survivability comes from his high base armor. And so Cyber is able to reduce a huge amount of that and nuke him and hit him for a lot of damage. You know, Terrorblade strength gain is not that good at all. And like it takes him a little while to get strength items after he gets, you know, his treads and if he's going to Kilo. So he's going to be sitting at a low max HP pool, and then he's going to be sitting at low base armor, and that means he's going to not have very much effective HP against the Slardar. So if one person rotates, like the CM rotates or Shadow Demon rotates, then he's going to get messed up.
How do you like that Faceless Void pick? So we have some synergy there with Faceless Void and Omni Knight, being that if the Faceless Void is stuck in the Chronosphere or you know, like in an actual engagement, the Omni Knight will still be able to kind of use the Guardian Angel to help him out if he's in this terrible situation. And added value of the Purification for the Heal Bomb, and Terrorblade in Metamorphosis with Dragonlance is certainly going to be able to hit whoever he wants inside of that Chronosphere.
Right, and you know it's a really good lockdown also for the Lifestealer, right? It's like if Lifestealers pop in that rage, and you know if things are going down, Faceless Void always has that Chrono. It could be really strong if they don't want to use another form of lockdown. But that's also going to mean that they're using a, you know, like a key ability to be able to just lock down that Lifestealer. So I really hope if they do that, that they need to they use like a Terrorblade and focus down on Lifestealer and Chrono, because if they don't, that Lifestealer is going to be able to, you know, ulti a creep next to him or something like that and be able to escape and heal back up. So we'll need to really focus down the Lifestealer if they don't have another form of lockdown for him.
We got the Ember Spirit ban out here, Shadow Fiend as well. Who do you want to see coming out of the Radiant here? Because this pick for TA, I think that's a pretty strong pick. And right now, the only damage over time sort of thing to break Refraction is going to be that Crystal Maiden with her Frostbite.
I would say Venomancer would be an amazing pick right now, because you have a Faceless Void who doesn't like damage over the time. You have Terrorblade who hates damage over the time. And the Templar Assassin is the same way. That's like a really good, strong pick right now. It's a little weird to run a mid, but it's not crazy. Because he's very annoying for the Templar Assassin to deal with. And we're going with the Tinker instead. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see how the Tinker does against the TA. Usually it's pretty good being able to just laser, so you can't get any of those hits off on the Tinker and be able to maybe go March build and secure that farm. I really, you know, the laning phase for both these teams has to go really well though, because you want that Tinker to really get off the ground against TA, and I mean if you don't, then you're going to have a really rough time later on trying to get those BOTs up against this kind of lineup.
All right, well, let me make sure I'm toggled over into the proper everything here. Let's get this logo up in the top right corner. Boop. And I guess I'll throw my name down here in the bottom left. But we're going to be going on into it. This is going to be exciting. And, you know, we've got some freaking Dota here. So, brief pause. CM is still loading. That's a new one. Would you say your Twitch name again is? Just like if you were to read it. So just
twitch.tv/reaping you.
Do.
You know if there's a setting to bind your mouse to your screen?
What?
Because I'm using full screen windowed and it's.
Oh, see, that's your problem. Oh, I mean, I think there's a console command for making it so that that doesn't exist, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
Okay, that's right.
Yep. All right, but let's just kind of give a rundown of our teams here. We've got BSJ Fanoy, not Fanboy, on the Shadow Demon, Tron Buster on the Slardar, Pregnant Beyonce on Lifestealer, ODB on the Tinker, and finally we're going to have Radeon 360 on the Crystal Maiden. And if you want to give us a rollout on 6-0 real quick with Terrorblade.
Yeah, so we got, the feed is real here on the Terrorblade. Hopefully it doesn't feed though. They got Madding Man on the TA here on the mid lane. We have Mirana, which is going to be played by Savage Egyptian. We have Sunder playing the Faceless Void on the off, and then we have Wolves playing, looks like Omni Knight helping the Faceless in the off lane as well. So it looks like we are going to be doing those dual lanes. A little bit weird dual lanes, but it's going to be dual lanes.
You know, I don't think these are too weird of dual lanes to have, though, realistically.
Yeah, the Mirana is really going to be able to help out zone the Slardar, because, you know, you have a range here dealing and poking that Slardar down, making sure that Terrorblade gets that secured farm, and we'll see how this dual lane goes. Looks like that Omnight's just warding and see if they can get some good harass up.
So bottom lane, we've got 2 vision wards dropped by the Dire right now. We've got 1 here and 1 here. So collectively, they've got a ton of vision over the enemy jungle. However, it's a bit redundant. So yeah. I think this looks like it was dropped by 2 different people on the Dire. Maybe one's from Sunder and one from Wolves. So
yeah, in this situation, you could have just placed it right here. You could have just placed it right there, and it would have covered basically everything you wanted. Both. You're
saying like in this area, right, where my circle is? Yeah.
Because you want to just cover this pathway.
Yeah, you're not going to get vision on this pole specifically by having a ward there. Although you will see in that row, and then you'll see a little bit of a peering out into the lane as well. And if you cut down a couple of those trees too, then you can extend your vision also. And it's not uncommon to cut down some of the ones by that large camp, perhaps, just to be able to get eyes on whether or not that's being pulled if you decide to do some sort of thing there.
Yeah, it's really weird to have both these wards in this off lane. It's using a lot of resources that, you know, you could put a ward for mid or something like that to be able to get high ground vision to be a little bit more easier for the TA to be able to watch for rotation. Or you could always use it a little bit more aggressively, or always save it for one of like the rune spots if you want to do that. It's a little awkward to have them both like this. I really feel that if you just take one of these wards and just put it in that spot, that you would be able to cover what you really want to do.
So notice how in the mid lane, how ODB is controlling the lane. He's using this laser really well to make it so that Maddie has to not only use refraction to last hit to keep up, but also that there's a mischance on the TA. Typically when he's almost mid-cast animation into trying to get that CS. So he's doing a good job at kind of disrupting him right there. And
yep, those are some like really good Tinker basics where it's, you know, you want to be able
right there, we saw it again. He did a laser for the deny.
Right in the middle of the auto attack.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating, and I know in pubs sometimes you can get really frustrated with that sort of thing, because you're like, you know, every single time you're hitting one of these last hits. But the T at the same time is doing really good job harassing with her side blades, because I know that the Tinker has bottle, but I mean every single one of these side blades hits, that adds up over time, especially if the TA starts controlling the rune spot.
Yeah, and you know, as we're looking at it right now, TA actually has a pretty good lead in terms of just his regeneration versus ODB's, but thanks to the addition of the Shrine in the game, not really something that really you have to be concerned about.
Yeah, there's a lot of regen on the map nowadays. So, you know, you have bottles, you have both of the bounty runes that you can get, you have both the shrines if you really need it, and then you have the regular rune.
So back to this bottom lane real quick before we get into the top, because I know we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
You can see how Wolves is trying to be a little bit more proactive based on these wards. So he's... Oh, speaking of, we've got a little bit of engagement on Sunder, but not really anything amounting from it. Just a little bit of disruption and Soul Catch connecting on him. So no real damage, just a little bit of light harass.
Missed and hit the creep too.
Oh, it looked like it connected on him, but... so all this vision that the Dire has lets them see that Crystal Maiden's fooling around with the jungle a little bit and pulling and stuff like that, but they're not in a position to really do anything to contest it because
they really need to
of their heroes.
A lot more, but you know, they don't really have the range. They don't have any range here to be able to do that. So if they're going to be trying to harass them, they really have to commit, you know, either a heal nuke or something like that to be able to really get this lifestealer down.
Well, Omni Knight is level 3, so we're going to have the level 2 heal bomb coming out, so Sunder jumping in with a heal on top of it. Realistically, they want to be looking for Shadow Demon or Crystal Maiden by themselves, because that's going to be a guaranteed kill if they get on top of them, especially with the Degeneration Aura as well. They really won't be able to get away.
Yeah, the best thing you can do is try and get, because does Omni Knight have... Yeah, so the Omni Knight still needs repel, right? He should be getting that next...
Top lane, Slardar landing the crush on Terrorblade. Does a little bit of harassment damage. They aren't really able to push him out at all, so not really sure what the effect of that was, aside from just trying to get some CS.
Up here, just should drop a heal on him. Oh, no, he's just going to wait.
That Faceless Void went really low. That salve being, you know, kind of that defining moment for him. Lifesteal also salving up in the lane, so they're going to be on pretty even ground, at least HP-wise, but we know who's winning when you look at the last hit charts with Lifestealer having a pretty good lead.
Versus 10.
Yeah.
That and experience. Lifestealer's a full half level ahead.
Just a little bit of harassment damage, but that's just a lot of mana to be using. I guess with the Crystal Maiden Aura, you can just be a little bit more liberal, but something you just kind of have to pay attention to. And Feed is real top lane already has his Dragonlance. The Corrosive is out on him, and Wolves able to get off the Sunder.
Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about before. There's a lot of damage that you can pop out.
Oh, Feed is real using the Metamorphosis, trying to go in on Tron Buster. He launches off with the Crush. One more hit will be all he needs. That's going to be our first blood.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit different if the Omni Knight wasn't there with those heals, but the heals make up for
back to the mid lane. Tinker getting caught out of position. Tries to do something with that. Oh, he is able to get Maddie. And Savage getting the return kill on ODB. So 1-for-1 exchange there. And they're not just done yet. Are they going to look to try and do something here on Mirana too? But those rotations coming in from the supports on point for the Radiant.
Yeah, and the good thing about that is I think the Tinker got the experience from the TA kill.
Yeah, and I mean Mirana was just shoot arrow, hit arrow, so that's like a pretty clutch way to be able to look at it, you know. But back to the bottom lane, Shadow Demon getting caught with the disruption, jumping out into the tree line.
Well, that's not the way you go.
Nope, he's gonna get stuck with the crush, and down he goes. We're getting a rotation in from Wolves, though. I don't really think this is the play.
Yeah, I think they should have probably rotated onto the Tinker middle. I think he's a little bit more vulnerable. The TA being able to get like a trap down on top of the Tinker and then going and diving them would probably be a really good, really easy kill for them. Because coming bottom, you know, you already have 4 enemy heroes down here. It's going to be really hard to be able to do anything down there. Tinker was still by himself for a good 30-40 seconds.
I think we're going to have a little bit of an engagement out here. Tronbuster's throwing out the Corrosive Haze even more. And Matty Man has joined the fray. Arrow off the mark on Tronbusters. He's going to TP back to the top lane. Go one-on-one, mano-a-mano with the Terrorblade. Maybe he'll be able to make something happen there.
I just noticed this TA's build, too, is really odd. Went for max Psyblades instead of refraction.
Maybe it's because of that knowledge of the mischance and not really putting so much emphasis on refraction as a whole, the instances or the damage, but just being able to use it to negate some damage. But
it's really going to affect her ability to catch up later. The additional damage that you get from refraction, I mean, from a level 1 refraction to a level 4 refraction is a lot of damage that you're able to do.
No, I agree. That's a lot of damage that you're missing out on, because we're looking at basically 60 damage for a level 1 refraction versus 160 at a level 2. Or excuse me, yeah, 160 at a level 2. So I'm curious what the logic is here to go the 4 points in Psyblade rather than the latter. And I mean, that's something that we're gonna have to ask Maddie about at the end of the game, but not something I would have gone with personally.
Yeah, you really want that refraction to be a high level, go and flash farm those neutral camps so you can catch up later. It's really, really nice.
Top lane, we've got Shadow Demon and Radiant rotated up there, and I think we gotta have a little bit of a fight, actually, out on the Terrorblade. Arrow connects on the Illusion, Sunder!
Oh, very close.
Yeah, I saw that cast animation on the way, but uh-oh, this fight, is we gonna still have a pursuit here from Tronbuster? I'm not sure.
I think he should just back up here.
Oh, we do have a crush going out on Wolves. He'll have to throw a Purification out on himself. Now Tronbuster on the retreat. Wolves throwing out the Guardian Angel a little bit prematurely, and now ODB able to come in and get an easy cleanup on him. One laser out. He'll have the rearm if he wants to do it, but no, we got the Demonic Purge from Fanboy. BSJ and ODB able to secure that double kill.
Yep, so a good ways on his way to his BOTs. He didn't rush for the BOTs. You know, he got the Soul Ring beforehand, but that's alright. He's only 500 away. He just farmed a little bit more and he should be good. But
opposite the map, we've got Matty Man Sunder and Feed is Real all looking to try and apply a little bit of pressure on the Lifestealer. I don't really think they're going to be able to do anything here. Ideally, you don't want to have a TB and a Faceless Void farming in the same lane.
Yeah, that's a little awkward. They both really want those levels and that farm. I feel like if they're coming down here to gank, they needed to just drop Chrono and go on him. But at the same time, you know, he has maxed out raid, really difficult kill. You know, he's got a decent amount of armor, decent amount of HP that you have to really get through. Looks like he's going for Sanjin Yasha too. So he's not going for the fast armlet, he's going for the race card build for the Lifestealer. I still would like to see him go back for the armlet. It's a very, very cost-effective item on him if they want to hit a mid-game time.
Do you think Sanj was buffed enough that it's worth getting yet? Because they just keep increasing that main chance, hoping that someone's going to start using it again. That's the way I look at it. I mean, Halberd and Saint Yasha is going to be a 35% now for the main, which is even more dramatic than it used to be.
Yeah, it's actually an extremely strong item, and it's been buffed and nerfed and buffed again like multiple times so far through a few patches. And it's kind of gotten to that point now where it's really strong.
Oh, mid lane, this TA getting hit with the Soul Disruption and the Demonic Purge. He might be taking enough damage here that he'll fall, and yeah, with the root coming out of Radiant.
That arrow's just a little bit off.
Yeah, Shadow Demon able to set up some good kills here and going to go back and heal up and just kind of make moves coming out from there.
Yeah, I think I think the Sanjin Yasha is a very good item. It's been a good item, especially on Lifestealer, and it's even more of a really effective item on Lifestealer now too, because it's one of those things where it almost fits a similar role to Basher, where it's like you can't get away from me and I'm able to just keep hitting you over and over and over again, which is what Lifestealer wants as a melee core. So it's a really strong item on him. It gives him a lot of good stats, gives him that ability to just chase heroes down. And it just fits his build just so well. And the buffs just help.
Top lane, Mirana with the Geist of the Moonlight Shadow. Moving in here with Wolves. ODB was looking originally to TP out, and now he thinks this might actually be a good kill opportunity for him. Slardar coming in with a crush. It connects on Wolves, and Mirana actually stuck with it also in the tree line, and oh, with the corrosive on him. Able to see him enough to be able to secure that extra kill too. And things are going really well in the Radiant's favor for these couple ganks here. However, Terrorblade across the map, or actually right now in the jungle, just trying to look and secure any farm he possibly can now. If we're looking at the Radiant Vision, we've got some eyes coming up into the jungle, and then we've got this ward that's behind the top tier 1. So this is going to show people rotating in on the tower, and he's also going to see people that are farming the small camp. So the big value for this is seeing people TPing in back here on the tower, or if there's any rotations coming up in the lane. Now, this ward down here, I mean, you're going to get a little bit of duplicity in like this kind of area here, so there's a little bit of a lapse on that, but eyes on the bounty rune, and you're going to have a good amount of coverage for any sort of river movement, at least right here, or coming into their jungle. So that's the value that you're going to see for those two wards for the Radiant. Now, ODB back into the lane, throwing out the March of the Machines, and just going to look to try and keep the pressure off the tower, and I think that was a smart call for them to make.
Yeah, they needed it right there.
Oh, we're still
Because
continuing in on here.
Like now, they could really go on him.
Yeah, Pregnant Beyonce with the Yasha, just really going ham and a half, and that is a Maelstrom on the quick buy for the next item for Lifestealer. So not a full dedication into the SNY, just the Yasha for the mobility, and Maelstrom is going to be the follow-up. But BSA Foundboy found the feed is real, and whoa, that's like an insta-pop. And Wolves has been found out too, and he is going to fall.
Yeah, this is why I really don't like this. You know, looking at it right now, I really don't like the 1 point in the degen aura now. It's not really doing anything. It's much better to have that second point in repel, have a little bit of a lower cooldown. It's just they really need these high levels in repel right now so that they can really stop these ganks, because the Slardar is going ham on them. Just being able to blink crush and just blow up hero after
ODB
hero.
bottom lane hit by the Chronosphere from Sunder. They're doing a ton of damage on here. I think they'll have the follow-up. Purification will be the ending note. Yeah, absolutely. Tinker out of mana and Faceless Void really being able to capitalize on it. And from the Dire, I would really like to see an infused raindrop on Terrorblade, Mirana,
Yeah,
Omni. Like, you throw that around on everybody, because that'll help you with the extreme amount of magic damage that's coming out of this Tinker right now.
Well, they got to deal with magic damage from the Tinker, and then they have to deal with this very, very high single target physical damage from the Slardar and from the Lifestealer combo.
And Slardar has his blink finish too, so that's going to be a
he's had
big
it
deal.
For a little while now. It's really it's what's going to be setting up these mid game ganks. You know, we're just come in there and crush and get haze on them, and you know you already have you have this super viable vehicle for Lifestealer now, and they're going bottom, calling out a gank on looks like Brown, but looks like he sniffed it out because of this ward right there doing dividends.
Well, inside the Slardar is going to be the Lifestealer, and we could see a rotation coming off into the enemy jungle, because it looks like that kind of is the plan for Tronbusters. Able to get the crush off on Wolves. Corrosive will be far too much. Yeah, they're able to take him down pretty quick. I don't think they needed that, but whoa, they smoked in a really aggressive spot where they actually killed the courier also, question mark. So, yeah, they've been shown out at least a little bit, but I don't know if it matters. Sunder caught by way too much damage. Now Pregnant Beyonce going to have to retreat from the battle, and we have a casual ultimate coming out of the Crystal Maiden.
Gotta get that CS.
Yeah, that's why you do it.
What's better flash farming? Refraction or Crystal Maiden Freezing Field? It's a hard one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the ultimate. Am I right? Did I win?
Nah, I think Refraction. It's such a lower cooldown, and the CM is really hard to keep up with the mana cost of thing. Because you think Freezing Field does a lot of damage, right? It's just, you know, the TA is able to flash farm with Refraction on ancient camps, and the Maiden cannot do that. It doesn't keep up.
Well, Terrorblade's continuing up the pressure. It took tier 2 top in the meantime, as that was all kind of breaking out on the bottom. So tower-wise, if we're checking out where everybody is at, we got both of these down in the top lane for the Dire. Radiant doing a good job continuing the pressure in the opposite side of the map, but not exactly an even game. Yeah. Well, they have all this vision, so it's easier for them.
Yeah, they have a lot of really good vision on.
Dire doesn't see this happen. TA. Oh, he saw Tronbuster, but it does. Oh, what a blink! It doesn't really matter, though. Slardar is continuing up on the corrosive phase of there. He won't be able to hide under the Geist of Meld. He needs a rotation coming out from any of his teammates, but we don't have any TPs coming. Oh, we do now. It's just a Faceless Void. He is going to try to blink forward. I don't know if he'll be able to land a Chronosphere at this point.
If he kept chasing a little bit, there's a possibility.
I don't think so.
No, they should be gone now.
So Dire Vision right now, we've got this forward lane ward right here that, you know, initially was for this tower for the Radiant to see any forward or TPs in on it. However, just providing a little bit of good coverage in the lane right now. Having a forward lane ward is typically good to do if you don't have a tower here and you want to still see.
Mirana going down.
Oh, jeez. Pregnant Beyonce, unstoppable.
Yeah, he is.
That's a pop-up.
He is very fat, and that is a diffusal blade that is going to be coming up on the lifestealer. He is very far ahead.
Yeah, after the Maelstrom getting a diffusal blade, and
I know the Terror Blade has, you know, more life, or about the same amount of CS as the lifestealer, but you know, the combination of deaths and just the lifestealer getting all these kills is just like really adding up and really snowballing as far as like the item progressions.
Back to the mid lane. Whoa, Matty Man able to blink out before any damage proccing in. That's why you have to get the Shadow Poison out while they're in that, so you can do something to disrupt that block, or the blink, excuse me.
Yeah, but the thing that's really cool about TA versus Shadow Demon is you get that damage in, so you think you cast up. If you refraction if you refraction before he gets his Q off,
Radiant, he may get stuck out in a terrible position. Whoa, he's gonna get popped. And I think they're gonna try to continue in on there. Chronosphere at the Roshan, catching two people under fire. Sunder trying to do something, actually get bashed out by Roshan, then one from Tronbuster right after the fact. RNG not in his favor, and they're continuing the pursuit on him. Savage Egyptian with heavy right clicks falling. Feed Israel wanted to get some sort of Sunder off and continuing that sort of presence, but they're looking to retreat relatively easily here. But TA able to blink forward and trying to maybe fight him in the trees, and the TP scroll for TA, or for the Lifestealer, was just in his backpack, so he wasn't going to be able to get out that way.
Yeah. That was this might be a little bit of a turning point here. I mean, you got a half HP Roshan here. That's going to give a pretty substantial lead to the Dire if they decide to do it. I mean,
well, look at ODB's farm right now. He has his Blink Dagger, he has his Aether Lens, and now he's working into this Aghanims, and that's going to be an absolute terror against those illusions from the Terror Blade, no pun intended. And, like, realistically, the Faceless Void is going to have to get a BKB on top of a Manta probably, and that's not really the type of items you want to deal with. But whoa, back to this fight. Madi going down really quickly, and Feed is real, able to get 1 and 2 at that point with the Sunder on the illusion just to kind of finish things up. ODB picking up on 1, Sunder, whoa, Feed is real, does go down to Pregnant Beyonce. Now Savage Egyptian jumping up into the Ancients, alive for a brief moment, and with the pop on that Infest Bomb, he's going to fall in.
So close.
That was 44 HP, yeah. Pregnant Beyonce is still in this Ancients from with no care in the world, and he's going to have his Diffusal Blade extremely soon. And thanks to Tronbusters, this Roshan is going to go down very quickly because of the Corrosive.
Let's see, take 2.
Well, I don't think there's going to be a take 3. This is a dead Roshan.
I think they got this one.
TA has TP'd into it. She kind of wants to do something here.
She really wants it.
Do it, do it, do it! No. Oh, what? What? It's still there! It's still there! Oh, the deny. There was no deny. There was no grab. And now I think Maddie's going to go down. Oh.
The panic. The panic. They both panicked.
Oh, no.
They both panicked.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she tried to drop it at her feet, and it probably tried to put it on him, and it wouldn't go because the Lifestealers.
I think he was trying to put an item in
Lifestealer. Well.
Yeah, he was trying to put an item in Lifestealer's inventory, and Lifestealer's inventory was full, so it wouldn't allow him to drop the item. That's what was just happening now.
Yeah.
Like, what a thing, though, because typically you're not going to try to block the Aegis like in that sort of capacity. You should have just grabbed it or denied it, I think. Yeah.
I would have just probably tried to go for the deny because at that point I know that you're pretty committed into that, but I mean, go for the deny, you know, you're buying time for your team, and because if something goes wrong there like it just did, then, you know, it's bad news bears.
Yeah, you're certainly not wrong on that one. So taking a look at everybody's items, if there's anything that we haven't caught up on lately, Slardar with the Shadow Blade is probably the newest thing out of the Radiant. Dire do have a Manta on the Terror Blade and a Medallion of Courage on the Faceless Void. That's a little bit of a different build for Void, but, you know, maybe it'll pay off for them. Whoa, that's a long arrow that connects on Slardar. Good for them to not try and continue in on this, but Maddie needs to be a little precarious. The Blink, mini Blink, not able to do enough. And we've got a Chronosphere coming out on 4. They're not going to have any damage to do anything here. Sunder needs to get out of this, getting taken out of the fight by a disruption, and now Wolves, with the Guardian Angel used earlier in the fight, won't have it for when the serious amounts of damage ends up hitting. And now the Mirana has the Aghanims and will hopefully be able to do something here. But Radiant goes down, trying to do an optimistic ultimate underneath the tower. And whoa, we do have Tron able to get out very barely, whatever. That's the words we're using right now. Just barely.
I think that fight would have gone heavily in Dire's favor, actually. That was a 4-man Chrono. The Terrorblade was just still back at base, though, just had the fountain. So, you know, he wasn't really able to get in position to be able to get his Metamorphosis off and get Reflection off to be able to really start dealing out all that heavy physical DPS. So, you know, when the Lifestealer has his Aegis like that and he gets chronoed with other people, you kind of want to ignore him a little bit. And don't want to kill the other people around him when he has the Aegis and then kill him less, because you're going to have to kill him twice anyways. And Lifestealer without support around him actually becomes pretty weak against high armor heroes or heroes like Void that have a bash. So it kind of gets a little awkward that way if your teammates are dying around you in a chrono and you're the only one sitting there left. But they survived the push. Their T3 is still standing, so we'll see what happens from here. I still think, I don't know if I like this, you know, the Echo coming out on the Void. I would really rather him go for a Blink Dagger to get better initiations off.
This whole build from the Faceless Void has been a little bit strange for me. I don't think I've seen a Medallion in the Echo build on Void really ever before. I could see the value of Echo, but I don't understand the Medallion really.
So the value of the Medallion is you want to eventually build it into the Solar Crest because it got buffed, right? But instead of having that on Void, and Omni Knight is almost dead. Yep. I thought he might have been able to get out there with a heal, but
oh, looks like ODB and Radiant looking to get something happening here. ODB landing in just a few easy rockets and now continuing the pursuit on them. Laser hitting both. That Ag's absolutely out of control. So blinking forward and one more hit. Does he get it? No, he doesn't on him. But Maddie will have that rocket still connect on him. And we're going to have to see BKBs coming out of TA probably as the next item. And yeah, I wouldn't find it, yeah. I was going to say on him, Terrorblade, Faceless Void. They're all going to need BKBs in order to deal with this Tinker.
I think,
aside from just getting a pick on him, you know?
Yeah, I think in a perfect world, though, what item progression you would want here is you would want the Medallion on the Omni Knight so that he can build that into Solar Crest. Because that means, you know, that's a little bit, that's interesting, Blink on Omni. I really, like, these are items you want switched around on these guys. You want the Blink on the Faceless Void, and you want the Medallion on the Omni is what you really want. Because in that situation, then it's like you have a really good Blink initiation, and the Omni, when he's healing someone, he can heal and he can armor the person that's getting focused down by the Slardar and the Lifestealer, keep him alive for a little bit longer. And also be able to give him evasion later when he builds it into a Solar Crest. On Void, you really don't want Solar Crest. Like you already have these really good survivable mechanisms, you know, and ultra late game. You know, when you already have Blink, you can go for your 20% evasion talent at level 25, and you just have evasion that way. You don't really want to stack that with another item.
So have you taken a look at TA's item choices pickup? We're looking at a Hurricane Pike as the next build. But it really doesn't matter. Wolves actually in a really bad situation here. Forced to use both Repel and Guardian Angel on just himself, which really isn't ideal. Maddie able to do a ton of damage here. Sunder with a great Chronosphere out on 4. Radiant probably going to go down here. One more hit will be all he really needs. But again, you are right. The laser doing a lot to keep them all alive. But the 3-man rocket doing so much damage. And ODB needs to be careful here. Maddie still looking for blood. He needs to be careful with this corrosive haze on him because they know where he is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that the refraction is on him, but they were able to get BSJ Fanboy in the end. And Tronbuster's blinked and then hit Shadowblade immediately.
Yeah, that's not a position you really want to be in right now. He has no Lifestealer inside of him. Lifestealer's dead. Oh, and he actually saw him there. He saw him briefly.
For a brief
he knows
moment.
He's around.
Yeah, good on him to notice that.
Tried to go for the blind trap, but it looks like he's just gonna walk away. Yeah, but that laser, if that laser did not come out from that tinker there, I think you would have seen probably 4 people who dead there instantly. That laser saved both the tinker and I think it was the Slardar's life, because the Slardar was getting, I think it was the Slardar getting focused by the Terrorblade after the Lifestealer. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly. And yeah, this Terrorblade really catching up now. Now he has a Scotty with his Manta and his Dragonlance. This is going to be a very, very farmed Terrorblade. He gets,
they're giving him time. That's the thing.
Yeah,
they're giving him plenty of time. And take a look at this net worth graph. We're only 5K in favor of the Radiant, roughly. So, although it was almost 10K in their favor at one point earlier, the Dire are doing a good job with these team fights and making the best they can out of this situation, building space across the map effectively in order to really do something for this Terrorblade.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if I think if the Radiant, it's still very close though. If the Radiant take a couple good engages, get a T3, get those shrines down, and take the next Roshan, I think it's going to be swung. It can be swung back in their favor pretty quickly.
So the
Roshan almost at what time is that?
It's like a minute and a half.
Yeah, about a minute.
So Slardar is going to be going for the Heart of Tarask next, and Tinker actually gets picked across the map. Sunder has to use the Chronosphere again, and Metaforce is also used, but Worth, that's a 5 mega kill streak going to the Dire, actually going to Sunder specifically.
Yeah, this is...
Oh, he is getting BKB on Sunder now. Okay, so Faceless Void did opt to go to BKB instead.
Okay, good. So he's not getting that go. Okay, that's a really good switch.
That's a better choice.
That's acceptable. The Echo is like pretty... I would not agree with, but the BKB and then maybe go for the Blink after is pretty nice. Ooh, he got blown up at Mirana mid lane.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did miss that one.
That was a Demonic Purge. Yeah, Demonic Purge went off along with some physical damage. But I think what we're going to see next is going to be the Terrorblade getting BKB and getting that level 25. And once that happens, it's going to be very, very difficult to kill this Terrorblade. Because you're going to be having...
So what BSJ Fanboy said, that's accurate. He is 1K, and he may have not have ever played that hero before. We don't know about that. But big fight coming out of here, and all the lasers just murdering everybody. The corrosive is way too much for them to handle with that negative armor. Wolves goes down. That's a gem actually dropped too. Crystal Maiden hasn't picked it up just yet, but they're continuing the pursuit on him. ODB blinking forward. Tronbuster able to get that crush, and down he goes.
Yeah, that's that.
That's a gem still on the ground. Radiant walked right over it.
They did not even see that gem, did they? Oh no. But yeah, that's what I was like. This game is so close enough where, you know, if the Dire lose one more fight like that, then you're going to be seeing racks going down along with like the T3. So it's going to be they got to play this really intelligently over the next 5-10 minutes, making sure that Terrorblade gets his BKB next. It's going to be buyback.
Uh-oh, Arrow does connect on Tronbuster. Now, Feed is Real has to buy back for this fight. Uses the reflection immediately at the beginning. Manta to pop some of that mischance. And he's just doing what he can to really just keep the pressure out. And the rest of his team is respawning now, and they will have Chronosphere since the Void has returned.
Yeah, but they can just back up. That's the thing. Like, it's not like the Void can TP behind them and blink onto him and get a Chrono. That's why you really want that Blink Dagger on such an important initiator like Void. You really need that distance to be able to cover.
So Omni Knight had actually picked up a Blink Dagger as his first item. What do you think about this, rather than like a Force Staff or a Glimmer Cape, something that's a little bit more defensive?
Actually, I think a mech in the Guardian Graves would have been perfect, because you have a lot of that focused negative armor and physical damage coming down from the Slardar and from the Lifestealer. So having that and having the Omni Knight alive and around them against that burst of armor when they're getting really low, and gives them that constant armor aura and the sustain to be able to follow up for, you know, fights and the pushes. So it's really, really nice to have. So I think getting that would have been a lot better, because, you know, mech is only 2,300 and Blink's 2,250. So
and he could have also built it piece by piece, which would have been a little bit of a different situation too. So Dire know about this Roshan. They've got traps in the pit, which the Radiant have not countered, and this is a really weird engagement for the positioning of both the Radiant and the Dire going into it. Not really a fight that the Dire should look to take from this angle. And
it's been like Shadow in this situation you wanted Dust, but
oh, terribly with the good Manta dodge on that rocket.
If that was the Void instead, that would have been, I think, two heroes getting caught in the corner there. I mean, there's still, you know, the Roshan comes back up, or is up still, so, you know, this Void is here, you know, the team is here. It looks like everyone's just gonna disengage. They might see this Terrorblade back across the map and go back for the Roshan, but...
Yeah, only 500 gold for a TA to be finishing up that Hurricane Pike at this point. Shadow Demon finishing up the Veil back at the base, so that'll be coming out to him relatively shortly. And the Slardar had already finished the Heart of Tarask and is already working towards an Assault Cuirass. So if the Dire doesn't do something in the direction to armor up the whole team by way of like an AC of their own for probably TA, I guess, at this point, they're going to be really struggling, because the negative armor damage is going to be too much, and they can't rely on just a Guardian Angel from Omni Knight.
I think, I know, well, the TA could get AC, but I think the Void could also get it at the same time, because then, you know, you're getting more auto attacks out from the Void, getting more bashes off, being able to control that Lifestealer a little bit better that way. It's viable in either of them, though. I'm not sure which one.
That is going to be a dead Roshan going away with Pregnant Beyonce, and he has a Sacred Relic, looking for a Radiance next for the Lifestealer. So just an added mischance on top of the laser already. This is going to be really difficult for the Dire to fight into.
Pretty much impossible.
Yeah. I like that Mirana's going towards a Linken's. I think that'll be very helpful for dealing with all of this single target spell coming out of the Radiant. However, this is still going to be a really difficult fight for them to look to take. Almost back up to 10k net worth for the Radiant.
I don't know if the Linken's is going to be that good, though, because, you know, if you're getting Blink and crushed by the Slardar, and then and then the Slardar puts Corrosive Haze on you, and it pops your Linken's, you know, that's only a 5-second cooldown versus that Linken. And you're still going to be able to get, you know, Crystal Maiden's going to be able to frostbite you, Lifestealer's still going to be able to start bashing you and focusing you down, Tinker's going to be lasering and rocketing and getting all that damage off. Being able to open up the Linken's to the Scythe that Tinker has now also, that's like, I don't know, I think a BKB would have just been a better option on the Mirana right now, especially with the Scythe out. It's really, we're just in a hard spot, man. There's not a single item that they need. They need a couple items on everyone to be able to keep it even. But I mean, they have high ground. They have good high ground defense. You know, because they have Void and they have that Chrono available. It's just they really need to take good fights here.
Bottom lane, feed is real, getting stunned out thanks to that Basher, and oh, they actually get Beyonce stuck in the Chronosphere for a brief moment, but Sunder has to use BKB in order to stay alive.
It's Aegis.
Down goes the Aegis, Radiant casually walking into the center of it all, throwing off that ultimate, but down goes Sunder too. ODB taking out Savage. Feed is real with a great Sunder on Pregnant Beyonce. A couple more hits, they'll be able to take him down, but no! He's able to jump into ODB, and he'll be okay for now. BSJ Fanboy getting the killing blow on Madaman, thanks to the Demonic Purge also there, and Feed is real needs to be very careful here. They're going to try and fight in on this, and I don't think that's the call from him. He's very weak. They're on top of him, but he does live, keeps the pressure out on him, and They've defended their tier 3 for now, but I don't know how much longer they'll be able to.
That was really close. If he would have gotten that lifestealer, they really need someone to get on top of this Tinker that can survive and beat him down. They don't really have anyone that's able to do that, you know. They only have the BKB on the Terrorblade, and they have it on the Faceless Void. And the Faceless Void is not able to survive long enough with his amount of armor to be able to beat down that Tinker. So it really has to be a Terrorblade. But you want the Terrorblade also to focus on, you know, Lifestealer, because no one else is able to really do that either. And be able to really burst him 100 to 0. So it's a really difficult spot where you want another damage dealer with a BKB, and hopefully that's gonna be TA here, but she's still ways off from it. She can get the overclock now, but you know, she's still gonna be a good almost 3,000 gold away. I'm not sure. I think after the TA gets her BKB, we need to look at an AC. We need an AC on someone. They need that aura. They need that aura. They need that armor to be able to survive. And then I'm not sure what the Terrorblade goes for. Yeah, it looks like he wants to go for a butterfly, but I don't know if that's what you want. I think
Tinker just finished Boots of Travel and his Scythe of Ice.
Yeah, his Scythe is really, really strong right now. So that level 2 boots means that he can basically be anywhere on the map at any time. And then he's going to be going for a level 5 Dagon, it looks like.
Unfortunately, Mirana did just waste the Moonlight Shadow in the base. They countered that one ward with it, so if you want to say worth, then cool. I'm going to disagree.
Yeah, we need to kind of save that. Does the Radiant have a gem right now? No, but they have a lot.
The Dire does. The Dire has a gem.
Yeah, they have a lot of detection on the Shadow Demon right now, though. So I don't know even if saving it would have been worth it. I guess if they would focus on the Shadow Demon, it would be pretty nice to have. Actually, they just have that Radiant Stone. He put that Maelstrom in his backpack instead of TP. I don't know. Oh, he switched back out. Okay. Yeah, and that Slaughter is going to have that AC done here pretty soon. So Dire really needs another aura. Needs their own AC aura to be able to counter that.
This Boost of Travel on the Tinker is really just kind of terrifying when it's a level 2 now, because he's able to just rotate on top of any hero that was getting dove on previously. And now with this Arcane Rune, oh god, he's going to be going crazy here with the amount of spam that's coming out. 180 mana rearm, that is just atrocious.
I mean, this is a little bit hard to look at. I mean, I might catch some.
Tron Buster has Lifestealer inside of him, blinking forward, connects on 2, able to take out, save Egyptian immediately, and Wolves does fall also. They were close, way too close up in positioning. Yeah, well, Kronos here, and he dies immediately, actually going to the Radiant, and now Feed is real. BKB on the backside with Maddie. They're trying to retreat, except Hex on TA was going to be enough to take him out. And with the disruption out on Terrorblade, yeah, this might be the end piece. They'll have buyback on Terrorblade, but with the Metamorphs down, I don't think that's really going to be something they're going to want to look to contest. And realistically, this is probably going to be looking at the end of the ballgame here.
Yeah, it looks like a GG being called by the Dire.
We got a GG well played being thrown in chat. 43 minutes and 49 seconds. Down goes the Radiant. Decisive victory going to ODB and the rest of his squad. And I believe Crazy Lazy was doing the shot calling for his team. So well done on his part if that was a new role that he was trying out that game. And hope things went well in terms of the shot calling for the Dire. However, we'll have a little bit of a post-game analysis now with some of the other people that were spectating this. I think I've got Chasers and maybe Masaki here as well. So we'll get the caster panel discussion going in just a second to talk about the game. And then we'll just kind of analyze the hell of it.
Yeah, sounds good.